Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in Thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and that good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, in view of the magnitude of work today, we will not take the roll call. The communications from the president. You know what is going on? They brought something is on the table. In the yellow file. So I think we will obviously. Honorable members, let's proceed to item 5 on the order paper. If we get some space, we may do some earlier items before 5, but in view of the fact that we'll be having the football match at 3, we may have to adjourn by 1 p.m. to allow members to present themselves at the stadium. I'll be there myself, and I don't know whether I will be among the 11. That is left to the coach. I can't impose myself on the coach. So we will all be there, and I'm praying that the other arms of government will be there with us. At least they give their word. And if the leaders are not there personally, I'm sure their representatives will be with us. So in view of that, we need to hurry a number of items and maybe defer some till tomorrow. So we take item 5, correction of votes and proceedings and official report. We'll start with the correction of the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 16th July 2024. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, page 14, page 15, page 6, page 15. Yes, Honorable Member.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, page 15, item number 9. The third line, Mr. Speaker, humbly it should read, the Honorable Second Deputy Speaker presiding that contrary to Standing Order 64 Rule 3, members present in the House constituted less than 1/3 of the number of all the members of Parliament. Speaker presiding is missing.
That is after which word?
Mr. Speaker, after Speaker. Speaker, so that it reads, the Honourable Member for Southern, due the attention of the Honourable Second Deputy Speaker presiding. Speaker, if presiding doesn't qualify, it is as if I drew his attention that on the floor.
Well, table office kindly take note. Page 16, 15, okay? Yes, please.
Speaker, I'm sorry to take you back to page 11. I was trying to confirm.
Page 11?
Yes.
Yes.
Speaker, that I recall the appropriate referrer was, yes, Committee of Lands and Natural Resources. And then you also said 4 appease the leadership, 4 members on the majority side, and then 4 on the minority side, namely the deputy leader, the chief whip, and 2 deputies. But what is captured there is deputy leaders and chief whips, which I think is not correct. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I said 4 members from each caucus, namely the deputy leaders, the chief whips, and deputy whips, 1 from each side. So you have 4. That should be corrected. Table office, kindly take note. Page 16. Yes, Honorable.
The Speaker, beside correcting that, the paper that has been
going to and fro for about 2 weeks. Even though it was late yesterday, copies are still not available to members.
Which one is that?
Those agreements that the majority chief commented on.
You are talking about page 11. Honorable members, there are two issues we have to take seriously. The response I got from the House when I was putting the question on the adoption of the Committee on Selection report made me to go behind the scene to try to unearth why that reaction. And so my attention has been drawn to a few issues that are of concern to members. And so we're taking it on board. Those concerns have been taken on board. And we'll be meeting you in the one of the informal committees to try and smoothing out all those issues. The other thing is that the current discussions in the public domain about how we handle instruments, I would definitely come with a formal communication on that matter to detail out the issues. And I think it's proper for us to acknowledge the role the media has played in this, to commend them and to make sure that they keep on being vigilant and being the citizens that they are, not just spectators. And so I'll come out with a formal statement on this, and together with their support, we'll be able to surmount some of these challenges. So please, let's be focused, and the issue that the Deputy Minority Whip have just raised should be taken seriously. But I will draw the attention of the House and the country to some of these challenges so that they can support us to find solutions to the constraints that we have in the House. So with this, let's move on to page 16, page 17, page 18, page 19, page 20, page 21, page 22, page 23, page 24, page 25, page 26, page 27, page 28, page 29, page 29, 28, yes. Your mic is not on.
I'll get away. My voice is loud enough. Right Honorable Speaker, number 3 of membership of the Committee on Economy and Development. My name has been wrongly spelled, the middle name. I am not Kwabla. I am Komla, K-O-M-L-A.
Komla.
No, I'm not an Angloman.
Komla. You are from who? So, Since you say you are not an Angloman, those who are from who, what is the meaning of who? Yes.
Speaker, the name was given to the city by those who migrated from Noche to settle there.
So the meaning of who is the people who migrated.
Yes, there are many people who don't even understand their names. Yeah, and they are laughing. As if,
It's a clear indication that you are not on top of your history. Honorable members, page 29, page 30, page 31, page 32, page 33, page 34, page 35, page 36, page 37, page 38, page 39, page 40, page 41, page 42.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Page 42 on Committee on Foreign Affairs and the Regional Integration, number 10. My name is written as Honorable Bitjeden. You have omitted my middle name. My middle name is Anwat Azuma.
You say your middle name is?
My middle name is Anwat Azuma, and it should accordingly be inserted. The spelling is ANWATAZUMO.
Table of his country, take note.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was going to overlook it and talk to the table office later. On page 30, I have the same problem with my middle name, Hassan, taken out on it.
On page 30?
Yes.
Your middle name?
Committee on Ways and Means. Number 12, Abdul Rashid Hassan, helpful. The Hassan is left out.
Please, table of his country, take note.
Ways and Means.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, let me take you back to page text for item 9. Honorable Courage Dauni Abubakar. I just called him, he confirmed that doesn't have courage on his name. They wrote Courage Dauni Abubakar. It's rather Dauni Abubakar.
Table office, kindly delete the word courage from the name of the honorable member itemized as number 9 at page 34 of the order paper. Or votes and proceedings, sorry. Page 43, page 44, page 45, page 46, page 47, page 48, page 49, page 50, page 51, page 52, page 53, page 54, page 55, page 56, page 57, page 58, page 59, page 60, page 61, page 62, page 63, page 64, page 65, page 66, page 67, page 68, page 69, page 70, page 71, Honorable members, the votes on proceedings of the 22nd sitting dated Tuesday, 16th July 2024 as corrected are adopted as a true record of proceedings. We now take item 8, statements. But before we do so, let me acknowledge the presence of some of our guests at the public gallery. We have with us today students from Mighty Jesus Academy. They are led by the headmaster, by name Ara Isaac Kojo. This school is located in the Trobo constituency. The students number 84. There are 84 in number, and they visited us this morning. On your behalf, I want to welcome them to the house and to encourage them to keep on coming. We congratulate your leaders, particularly the headmaster, for the decision and for leading you to see and experience for yourself what happens in Parliament. Our team will draw your attention to what we do and how we do it and why we do what we do. It will take time for you to learn the rest, but you are warmly welcome, and honorable members kindly acknowledge their presence. You may now sit down. I have with me a statement submitted by Honorable Kwabena Mensah Woyomi, and I'll give him the opportunity to read the statement, and a few of you will be permitted to make comments on the statement. So, Honorable Member, you may do so now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to make this important statement on the upcoming Speaker's Democracy Football Cup under the theme 30 Years of Parliamentary Democracy under the Fourth Republic, the journey thus far. Mr. Speaker, today I rise to address this esteemed House on an occasion of great significance and celebration. As we mark 30 years of practicing democracy, it is fitting that we commemorate this milestone with an event that unites us in the spirit of friendship, competition, and national pride. Mr. Speaker, over the past 3 decades, our democracy has grown stronger and more resilient. We have navigated challenges, celebrated triumphs, and continuously worked towards a brighter future for all our citizens. Mr. Speaker, on February 22nd, 2023, you launched a year-long celebration marking the 30th anniversary of parliamentary democracy, focusing on bringing Parliament closer to the Ghanaian citizenry. These celebrations, spearheaded by a special anniversary committee headed by our experienced colleague, Honorable Samuel Atta-Achia, MP for Iwakwa South Constituency, included various activities such as public forums, mock parliamentary sessions by student parliament, youth debates, health walks, and prayer sessions. I must emphasize that all the activities rolled out during this period have witnessed unprecedented participation by the good people of Ghana from the northern, middle, and southern sectors of the country. I am pleased, Mr. Speaker, to inform this House that on June 13th, 2024, a significant initiative, the Democracy Cup, was launched by your good self as part of the anniversary activities. This launched by your good self as part of this being your initiative and vision, supported by Mr. Jeff Asare, Mr. Larry Opari Ochu, the Deputy Clerk to Parliament, Ebenezer Oma Jetro, and my good self, is commendable and aims to promote democratic principles through sports. Indeed, the 2030 Agenda, adopted in 2015 by the United Nations, highlights that sport is an important enabler of sustainable development and acknowledges the growing contribution of sport to the realization of development and peace in its promotion of tolerance and respect. It also recognizes the contributions sport makes to the empowerment of women and young people, individuals and communities, as well as to health, education, and social inclusion objectives. Mr. Speaker, sports also inherently embody principles of fairness, equality, and respect for rules, which are essential foundations of thriving democracies. They bring individuals of diverse backgrounds together, united by common goals and governed by shared rules. This mirrors the democratic process, where every citizen has an equal voice and opportunity to contribute. In Ghana, Mr. Speaker, sporting events such as those participated in by our national football team, the Black Stars, unite the nation across political, cultural, ethnic, and religious divides. Such moments underscore the power of sports in fostering social integration, national unity, and collective identity. The inaugural Democracy Cup is scheduled to take place on Wednesday, which is today, July 17, 2024, at the Accra Sports Stadium. This event will feature a highly anticipated match between Ghana's two most celebrated football clubs, Accra Hearts of Oak, Phobia, and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, the Fabulous. Beyond determining the winner in this game, this clash aims to uphold and perpetuate the democratic spirit cherished over the past 30 years. This football match is more than just a game. It is a symbol of our unity, our shared values, and our collective determination to move forward together. Football, often called the beautiful game, mirrors the principles of democracy. It thrives on teamwork, fair play, and respect for rules. On the field, as in the democratic process, every player has a role, every voice matters, and every effort contributes to the collective goal. Mr. Speaker, this match will bring together members from across the political spectrum, showcasing that while we may have different views and affiliations, we are united by our love for our country and our commitment to its democratic ideals. This celebration is also a tribute to our citizens who have entrusted us with the responsibility to govern. It is their unwavering support and active participation that have fortified our democracy. As representatives, we must always remember that our strength lies in the diversity and unity of our people. Moreover, this event will provide an opportunity to honor the spirit of sportsmanship and healthy competition, qualities that are essential in both sports and politics. It reminds us that regardless of the outcome of the scoreboard, what truly matters is the respect we show each other, the effort we put forth, and the joy we derive from the game. Let us embrace this football match as a symbol of our democratic journey. Let it serve as a reminder of how far we have come and as an inspiration for the path ahead. As we celebrate 30 years of democracy, let us renew our commitment to uphold the principles that define us, to work together for the common good, and to continue striving for a just and a prosperous nation. I will end by calling on members, staff, football enthusiasts, especially the fans, media, institutions, CSOs, and other stakeholders to take note and fully participate to ensure a successful event. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let the game begin and may it be a celebration of our unity, our democracy, and our shared future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, thanks so much. That's quite an inspiring statement. Guided by leadership, how many from each side of the House?
Mr. Speaker, this statement is maybe the highlight of, this statement might be the highlight of this morning's activity before we disperse and go and prepare for the game. So we can do 3-3 and then leadership. 3 on each side before leadership.
Well, Honorable Lady. Honorable Freda Prembe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statements ably made by the ranking member on youth and sports. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to commend you, your good self, for instituting a committee under the able leadership of Honorable Atachia. We've had a series of events to commemorate the 30th anniversary. Ghana has had a rich history of democratic governance, and 30 years, I believe, is a significant milestone. We've had the Rawlings era, we've had the Kufuor era, we've had the Mahama era, we've had the Akufo-Addo era, and today we are still enjoying our democratic processes in this country. Mr. Speaker, we've commemorated the 30 years with a public fora, with health walks and prayer sessions across the country. And I'm particularly happy that today we are crowning it all with a football match. Football is the passion of the nation. It brings us together. It promotes peace, reconciliation, and unity. And it is a common ground for us to socialize. And I'm particularly happy that the women have been given the opportunity to play the curtain raiser. Even though, unfortunately, out of the 40 women in this house, we could not raise the team. But I believe that once we're going to play the female staff this afternoon, we'll do our best and see what we can do this afternoon. Football, whether it's the Starlets, whether the Satellites, whether Meteors, or the senior team, the Black Stars, or the Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars, the Princesses, is the passion of the nation. And apart from the fact that it brings us together in the form of socialization, it's another way of exercising. So I think that this particular Democracy Cup is a unique one. It's the first of its kind that has been instituted and launched by your good self, and I had the opportunity to be one of the MCs for the launch about a month ago on 13th June. I hope that our colleagues from both sides of the aisle, especially the women, will grace the occasion this afternoon to support the Democracy Cup. Kotoko is going to play Hearts of Folk. And I hope that it's another opportunity for them, both teams, to redeem their image, because they do not really fare well in the Premier League. And then we are giving them another opportunity to redeem their image. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity. And as the maker of the statement rightly said, it's an opportunity for all of us to come together, to exercise, to socialize, to cheer our teams up. And also, it's another form of, coming together as members of parliament. So don't let us see it's just like another football match between Accra Hearts of Folk. This is our Democracy Cup. This is for parliament. This is part of the 30 years anniversary celebration, and this is the climax of it all. And I treat all of us to be part of the ceremony this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And I hope that I'm going to see my dear sister Nana Hima right here as part of the guests this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you. Nana Hima, Honorable Eslo Usue Kufu. Thank you.
Are you giving us notice of her full name? Because that one is not in our records.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for drawing my attention. It's unofficial, but she's a queen mother. Thank you.
Ungazetted. Yes, Honourable Member for Owa Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on this very aptly presented statement by the Honourable Member for Southton constituency on the Democracy Cup event which is taking place today. Mr. Speaker, this is a very unique initiative by yourself, by your good self, and is depicting the unity of purpose, our commitment to democracy, and the dire desire to get Ghanaians together in our commitment to move forward in the development of this nation. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy that we have chosen sports as a mark of marking this event, which is celebrating the 30 years of our democracy. Sports is a unifying factor, and football is a pulse of this nation. Over the years, it has united people from various ethnic groups, from various political groups, to pinch their fortunes on a team, and mostly our national teams. And I'm happy the Speaker made mention of the Black Stars, which we all rally around whenever they are playing their matches in the African Cups. The Speaker, democracy, as we all know, is a very important political system that allows countries and groups and institutions to elect their leaders or to have their leaders put in place in cordiality, in understanding, in a way that allows the majority to rule. And it is important that as we go along with our democracy, which has now reached 30 years, we earmark the desire for unity with this event, a football match. And football match over the years have been looked at by Ghanaians as one that depicts Ghana in various ways. If you go throughout this world, anywhere you go and you identify yourself as Ghanaian, one of the key things you are noted for, or you can be identified with, is the fact that you have a good football team. So, Mr. Speaker, in our attempt to bring democracy closer to the people and choosing football on this event to culminate this 30 years of our democracy, we are simply uniting our people and we are simply showing them the way. We have had so many challenges in our democracy, some in which people lose their lives, some in which people lose their fortunes. And Mr. Speaker, under all these circumstances, we still think that it is the only way to go. And so we need to ensure that as we walk along the streets and carrying the people along, we let them know that in every event of that nature, there's still time to come together as one people. And especially with parliamentarians getting involved in this initiative and going to play football, I'm very sure citizens will look on the screens, those who will visit the park will see members of parliament, their own members of parliament, determined to show their love for democracy, playing across purposes, working together as a team despite their various political backgrounds, and working towards achieving the basic fundamental democratic principles that we have put in place to ensure that Ghana will never go back into any other form of government, especially military regimes that very likely will dehumanize people and make it impossible for us to exercise the rights of citizens. The Speaker, I want to thank you for this initiative, and I want to thank the maker of the statement for bringing this up. It ensures very clearly that in our regime, in this regime in which you are the leader of parliament, you are the Speaker of Parliament, we are setting a certain standard, and which is a standard that unites us, a standard that we can boast of in future as one that is marking a situation where the people can come together and appreciate their democracy, both through their leaders and by themselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
The Minister for Western Region.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very delighted for this statement ably made by Honorable Kobe Wayomi. Mr. Speaker, 30 years of our democracy has been very good, irrespective of all the bumps that we have seen. Mr. Speaker, I still remember your visit to the Western region to celebrate 30 years of the Fourth Republic. And therefore, I believe that this cup that we are going to play is a big feather in your cap for allowing Parliament to showcase the democracy of our great nation, Ghana. Mr. Speaker, if you take the maker of the statement, and I quote, "Sports is an important enabler of sustainable development and acknowledges the growing contribution of sports to the realization of development and peace in its promotion of tolerance and respect." Mr. Speaker, it is a fact that football in particular is a passion of our great country. And there's no football team in Ghana that only consists of the ethnic group in the area in which that football club is hosted. So clearly, football brings a lot of people together. It gives them the opportunity to travel around the country so they don't know what is happening all across this country. And in recent times, we've also seen that football has become a major enabler of creating wealth in this country. We know what football has done to Abedi Pele and the way he's been able to use that to create new opportunities in savings and loan companies, in mining companies, in real estate companies, creating new opportunities for our own people to enjoy. Mr. Speaker, the Democracy Cup that you have inaugurated and we are playing today, I believe that from next year, we'll also be rotating the matches so that the rest of this country will see what democracy is doing for us. Mr. Speaker, as far as we are talking about democracy, naturally it's the government by the people. And I believe that whilst the good people of Ghana have the opportunity to elect their MPs, have the opportunity to elect their president, and have the opportunity to elect their assembly members, it is time that we showcase this democracy cup to enable the people to also elect their DCs or Metropolitan Municipal District Chief Executive. I believe that that is the biggest gap that has been left. Because if our people are sensible enough to be allowed to elect their president, to elect their parliamentarians, and to elect their assembly members, then the government at the local level, the head of the government at the local level that controls the money, should also be accountable to its people. And I believe that going from next year, Parliament might have to have a special debate on this matter to make sure that we support whichever government is in power to make sure that our DCs are also elected. Mr. Speaker, that is one of the best ways to eradicate the problem of winner takes all in our country. In a situation where there's so much heat in Accra, because the whole country resources is managed by one government. Mr. Speaker, in other parts of the world, like the UK, like the Americas, the mayors are elected. And because they are elected, we are sure one political party cannot have a hold on all the resources of that country. I believe that in doing so, it brings down the temperature, it brings down the tension, and ensures that everybody will hold a part of the country and everybody will hold it well, so that inclusively we can run a country without a lot of the heat that we tend to have. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, it will also destabilize anybody who might want to just take over the helms of affairs in the area of coup d'etat. Recently, there have been a lot of speculation about revolutions, Arab Springs, and coup d'etats and all that. But if every political party or political parties are able to hold some sessions or some parts of our cities across the country, I believe that that brings down the tension, and people might not feel that they need to create new problems for this country. Mr. Speaker, sports is very good. It's good for health, it's good for education, And I believe that in doing the 30th anniversary Democracy Cup, Parliament will use that same opportunity and the same medium, especially the sports hosts and sports journalists, use the same medium to advocate for tolerance for our democracy. Because without Parliament, there will be no democracy. And I believe that we should use this opportunity to continuously engage the sports people to understand Parliament, so that they can also use their medium to extend and educate the populace who usually listen to a lot of sports to understand democracy, and in doing so, we can have the stability we need for Parliament to thrive and for our democracy to go on. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank Honorable Wayome for such a brilliant statement, and I believe that we use this opportunity to connect sports, democracy, and prosperity. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I'll only have to rely on seniority. But I see a professional person there, Honorable B.T. Baba. That one, he takes precedence over seniority. I'll recognize that. No, not the age, that the fact that he was there before Honorable Haruna joined him in the sports arena. Honorable Deputy Whip, yes.
The Speaker, if you can amend the numbers, because Honorable Haruna is a footballer and Honorable Mutaka is an athlete.
Honorable Mutaka is a what? Athlete. Oh, okay. Which of the events? Long distance or? He's a sprinter. Yes, on the lighter side, let me hear the Majority Chief Whip.
I was looking to the eyes of my good friend, Honorable Ahmed, when he elected to declare that the Honorable Haruna is a footballer and Honorable Muntaka is an athlete. And he failed to declare his specialty.
He's a spectator. Yes, Honorable B.T. Baba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to congratulate you for this initiative which has ushered in the 30th anniversary of our democracy, and also to thank the maker of the statement. We all know the benefits of sports and what sports can do to ourselves and our country, especially football. I need not emphasize on that. My worry, Mr. Speaker, is that for good 30 years, what has been the grading, the assessment that we give to our practicing democracy in this country? Mr. Speaker, are we really practicing democracy? Have we reflected soberly on the things that are injurious to the practice of democracy? The match that we are going to play is one sure way of bringing people together. It's one sure way of promoting unity. But I think critically, we are over-politicizing issues in areas where institutions are supposed to be the key stakeholders in the practice of our democratic principles. I'm not happy, and I know a lot more Ghanaians are not happy with some of the things that are going contrary to the principles of democracy. One, we have politicize virtually everything. And like a colleague said, the Minister for Western Region, that the winner takes all principle. It means that...
Are you talking about injecting extreme partisanship?
Partisanship, yes, sir.
You have to politicize.
Yeah, partisanship. Thank you for the correction, Mr. Speaker.
For policies.
Yes.
So you have to come with that, yes.
Yes, partisanship. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I think that is a very serious canker that can erode democracy in this country. Appointments and promotions to state institutions have also gone the same way. Yet, we all know the benefits of democracy. We all enjoy it because there's freedom of speech, there's freedom of movement, and people have the right to determine what is good for them. In a very sound democratic country, these are encouraged. When people decide to go on demonstration, which is enshrined in the Constitution, they are met with injunction orders. They are made to suffer without going on the demonstration. They are made to abandon it because there's an injunction against the demonstration. Where in the Constitution are we told that demonstrations cannot take place? They can take place with police protecting them. But police become a stumbling block to demonstration because they have pressure coming from higher authorities or whatever levels of authority preventing the demonstrators. Most of us have not seen what has necessitated the First Republic being truncated, the Second Republic being truncated, the Third Republic being truncated, until we got the Fourth Republic. The Fourth Republic has gone 30 years because we all have the belief that democracy is the way. But we ourselves are opening up to prove that democracy is not the way we want to go by some of these actions that we practice. We have an electoral system that the independence of the Electoral Commission must be protected and safeguarded. It has become a partisan institution. And when you look at what goes on there, you ask yourself whether we are serious with our democracy. Mr. Speaker, I have been in the security services. I've witnessed several coups d'etats. As I speak, in September, on the same day that you were born, I'll be 75 years. Yes, 75. So I have seen what is good in a democratic system and what is bad in an undemocratic system. It was for this reason that this Fourth Republic, our founder of the Fourth Republic, Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings, who became our head of state, said that coup d'etat of 31st December will be the last of all the coup d'etats. And I believe in that. I subscribe to that. We in this parliament are always the losers. The executive may go, but that will not stop parliament from functioning. But one bullet announcing such a thing of changeover will mean that parliament is dissolved. Let us be serious with our oversight. and stop the partisan way of supporting issues in this House. Let us stop the executive for unnecessary promotions and appointments in the various sectors of the country to ensure fairness. Recruitment into the security services have become partisan. Can this promote democracy? Mr. Speaker, this cannot. We have a divided security services. And democracy cannot isolate the security services from being part of it. And they can only be part of it if we use the proper system of recruitment, of promotion, and of appointment. And in the same way in all the sectors. We are about to go into elections, and all of a sudden, certain equipment of the ECs are missing, and we cannot trace them. How can we be sure? Mr. Speaker, this is a very critical issue, and I don't want to follow this, that everything is well with our democracy. We are only managing it. And I want to congratulate you further for stamping on your authority that this siren amendment bill should not take place. Mr. Speaker, with the amendment, the LI on it, LI, I'm emotionally charged, LI. And let me say that the LI, that is promoting the use of siren by members of parliament, have been set aside for further consideration. Mr. Anodombre, Honorable Anodombre, Chief, please allow me to speak. Allow me to speak.
Honorable Member, can you kindly address me?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude that our democracy is being threatened by the partisan nature of some of the institutions which are supposed to hold us together to move forward in our democratic journey. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker,
yes,
my good friend, and today is an auspicious day. Ordinarily, I won't do this. But he kept veering off. He should revert his mind to Speaker Order 93.5. Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, a member may comment on the statement for a period not exceeding 5 minutes, and the comment shall not provoke debate. It's just unfortunate he's concluded. He veered off and actually provoked debate. Unfortunately, I didn't catch your attention. But he should revert his mind, and next time when he gets the opportunity to comment, Honorable BT Baba, don't forget Order 93. Don't forget Order 93. So I thank you.
Yes, what do you want to do?
Honorable Speaker, I simply want
to raise an issue of point of order. And you also you try to raise
the same point of order.
A point of order on point of order.
Just to say that the member never violated that standing order that he was quoting, because he never provoked any debate. I listened to him. He was within the subject of the statement. It was about our 30th anniversary, and the Democracy Cup was part of the 30th anniversary. And this member was chronicling the history of our democracy and the challenges that he sees that we should be cautious of. And so the member was right within the statement, and he never provoked debate, in fact. And so it's something you should take note.
So is the majority chief whip who has rather provoked debate. So majority chief whip, you are out of order. Yes, Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made by the ranking member for Youth and Sports and Culture, the Honorable Kobna Wyoming, and to commend him, Mr. Speaker, for bringing this matter to fore. Mr. Speaker, this morning I was struggling on the bad porous road between Sampa and Sunyani to get a flight coming, because he and Ibrahim Ansah had assured me that I'll be part of the Parliament 11, and I didn't want to lose the opportunity to be part of the 11. But Mr. Speaker, let me use this opportunity to commend you. 30 years of Ghana's democracy is 30 years of appreciating our freedom and our democracy. You have celebrated it together with this House in many respects. And one of the major highlights now would be the Democracy Cup, which will be a major competitive football match between Accra House of Folk and Asante Kotoko. Mr. Speaker, understandably, there will be a curtain raiser which will be members of Parliament playing with the old Black Stars of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, our democracy, 30 years, we have had some accomplishments, we have had some shortcomings, some is what the Honorable B.T. Baba chose to speak on, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, 30 years of parliamentary democracy, I think that Ghana has every reason to celebrate that we have benefited in many respects in what is described as the democracy dividend. In many parts of our country, social, political, economic, there has been some development attributable to our democracy. Our democratic institutions, whether it's parliament led by you, the legislature, the judiciary, or the executive, has also done its part. But Mr. Speaker, let this Democracy Cup remind us of three things. One, Mr. Speaker, coincidentally, this year is an election year where Ghana will undertake presidential and parliamentary elections on 7th December. This Democracy Cup must remind us that we should be sportsmen. Good sportsmen accept defeat and they celebrate wins. In this election, there will be a winner and there will be a loser, whether at the presidential level or at the parliamentary level. So one of the consequences of your initiative is for us as a country to accept that in a football match, after 90 minutes plus additional time, there will be winners and losers. And therefore, we should accept it. Mr. Speaker, I also think that football unites Ghana. Therefore, one of the opportunities we are creating today is for us to reflect, as I said, on our freedoms and the democracy, and seeking to unite the country. Now today, Mr. Speaker, even in constituting the football team, there will be no NDC or MPP. It will be strikers, midfielders, and defenders made up of all our political parties. So, Mr. Speaker, it sits with what Honorable B.T. Baba have said. Maybe going forward as a country, we should think about reviewing the 1992 Constitution. The Honorable Minister for Western Region said it. Maybe Ghana should opt for a proportional representation in the running of our democracy, akin to what is in South Africa, so that on the basis of the party's strength, you are represented in the affairs of the state. Then, Mr. Speaker, finally, you are also showcasing football. Today, Mr. Speaker, is good business, is good investment to do football. Ghana has a lot of skills and talents in football, but the opportunity, if you take, for instance, Upper West Region, there is no state-of-the-art stadium in the Upper West Region. You take Bolgatanga, there is no state-of-the-art stadium. You take even Bunu Oti Region, there is no state-of-the-art stadium. Even the Tamale Stadium, Aliu Mahama, is in such a bad, deplorable state. So to make it, maybe by drawing attention today, government should also commit to building state-of-the-art infrastructure to support football generally across the country. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, let me commend you and commend the maker of the statement. I'm sure the parliamentary service will be there today not to take notes as table, but to cheer the parliamentary team. Mr. Speaker, Ibrahim Ansah is struggling to get the team. His confusion is he going to play all members of parliament or some staff of the parliamentary service or a mix, even including national service persons who are in parliament? They can form our team, Mr. Speaker. So we'll have one united, strong team. Mr. Speaker, we've been training the honorable member in Wyoming together with Salam, and then the honorable Ashama. We've been training to give you a good team. The parliament has a good team, but Mr. Speaker, we've been struggling with bread. You will see it on the pitch when we go. With this, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable members, the team will be a team from Parliament, Parliament as an institution. So you will have some members of Parliament who will be members of the 11, the first 11 or the substitutes. Then we will also have the staff being part of it, and then our supporting services. We will include some members either from the police, from the fire, from the ambulance service, from the health, who are all here supporting Parliament, and they are all part of the institution of Parliament, the parliamentary community. And gender will be taken care of. And so you have some of our ladies, I think one offered to be the goalkeeper. I don't know which of them. And that will be the team from Parliament. The ex-footballers, I'm told, will be led by Tornado, Stephen Appiah. I don't know whether he will be the captain or the coach, but at least we are sure to beat them. Yeah, I'll be there myself. Yes, please.
I've just been informed. Apparently, our team has been training for the last 2 weeks. Unfortunately, a lot of star players among members of Parliament were not informed about this training. And some of us have gone to write our names only to be told that the selection is already complete. So let the world know that key star players who are supposed to be fielded will not really wear the jersey. Star players like myself, Honorable Avoka, will not have the chance to play. So we will send our team, but at least we'll be standing by. If those who trained are not performing, we'll come in and help. So I think it's important we let you know that key people.
Honorable members, I'll be compelled to depart. We have a very important delegation. Pay a courtesy call if arrive. They are waiting on me. I may have to, with your kind permission, in view of the interest shown by members, call on the most senior among you to come and preside as the chair. Just for this statement, it's only this statement that is the last item. But I don't want to truncate the comments. And so I will call on Honorable Cletus Apul Avoka, which is the most senior member present today, to take over as Speaker Temporary for this occasion. In our standing orders, it's referred to as chair, but internationally they use the term Speaker Temporary. whilst we wait on him, please let me acknowledge the presence of two more groups of students coming from Pochin DA Junior High School, located at Gomoa East, led by the head teacher, Mr. Benjamin Boabeng. They are 76 in number. Please, may you stand up to be recognized. On behalf of Parliament, the members of Parliament and staff, I warmly welcome all of you to today's session. Please, this is your house, this is your Parliament. Keep on coming so that tomorrow you take over from us and perform better than we are doing. We also have, please resume your seats. We also have students from Presbyterian Basic School B, located in the new Juabin North constituency. They are led by the Assistant Headmaster, Mr. Richard Obri Kumi. There are 66 in number. They are at the left side, and on behalf of you all members, I warmly welcome them too. You are most welcome, and please take time to learn the rudiments of parliamentary practice. With this, I will hand over to the Speaker Tempore, Honorable Cletus Apol Avuka. The only item is this statement. After that, the House will adjourn. Honorable members, let me thank the Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Alban Bagbin, and then all of you in the chamber today for giving me this opportunity. I hope that we can have extended sitting today. On a serious note, leadership, can I have your guidance? I'm praying for your cooperation for the few minutes or hours that I'll be here. Can I have the guidance of the House for leadership?
Mr. Speaker, take two more and we contribute from the others so that leadership right now.
Two more contributions?
Yes.
Very well. Honorable Muntaka, Asawase, MP.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me add my voice to thank our colleague, Honorable Kobna Mensah Oyumi, for the statement that is...
Please, can we have your attention? Please, honorable members, let's pay attention to the former Chief Whip, please.
The statement that is made on this very important occasion on our clamors of celebration of the 30th anniversary of parliamentary practice, which is being culminated with these football matches. Mr. Speaker, let me say that we need to be doing more to advertise where we are, to show to especially the new generation of our country where our country has come from and where we are. Democracy, Mr. Speaker, in Africa is under serious threat. And the earlier we all wake up to the realization that democracy across the continent is heavily being threatened, the better. And Mr. Speaker, let me add that the reason why Parliament needs to celebrate this, more importantly, is that democracy is properly defined with the presence of Parliament. Without Parliament, there cannot be democracy. Anything that you call it, you may call it, but it will not be considered as a democracy. Because even under a military regime, you have the resemblance of the executive and equally have the resemblance of the judiciary, even if it's a martial court. But what you lack is the parliament. But Mr. Speaker, the time has come for us to be very dispassionate about our role and how we have played our role in the past 30 years. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to have to observe, to be part of 20 years of the 30 years. You have seen it all. And Mr. Speaker, if we take our emotions away and have to be very truthful to ourselves, we will admit this chamber has deteriorated to a extent that in terms of performance, in terms of expectation of the people, in terms of what we are supposed to do, our quality has deteriorated heavily. And Mr. Speaker, we need to appreciate that so that we can up our game. Because Mr. Speaker, in the last 30 years, I have seen in this chamber the like of J.H. Mensah as senior minister when some of us came to this house. And Mr. Speaker, you recollect, even as senior minister belonging to an MPP government of President Kufuor, he could get up on this seat, I remember this very seat, and sometimes criticize what his own government was bringing. He would add it and say that, yes, I was in cabinet, but I've made my voice and I want it to be recorded in this house. I've seen a number of it. Today, we ourselves are fighting dissent. We are fighting dissent. And Mr. Speaker, democracy everywhere in the world is being qualified by three major things. One, you need to be able to have free and fair election. Two, you should be able to have compromises, talking to each other across purposes, be able to understand and do give and take. That is why the chamber is structured the way it is. And Mr. Speaker, unfortunately for us, we are losing all this. And Mr. Speaker, unfortunately for us too, the way we have structured our political parties in this country, I'm sorry to say, they are becoming the centers of corruption and giving birth to a democracy that forces to be so corrupt. Mr. Speaker, look at how every member of parliament, the process we go through, starting from the branch elections to constituency to region to national, then you have primaries. Now people even forget their positions in their branch. MPP call them polling stations executives. NDC will call them branch executives. They see themselves as delegates. And Mr. Speaker, you understand why they call themselves delegates? Because of the bribery and corruption that takes place at that level. Mr. Speaker, today, if you look at the way we structured our political parties, go and check the records. Almost every regional chairman that you see on both NDC and MPP, his primary aim is to be a contractor so that when his party is in government, he sees it that that's the way he as an individual can benefit. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the party apparatchiks, all they do is simply how can we take out of the system? How can we be partisans to take? So Mr. Speaker, in doing this, we've lost three critical things that comes with democracy. In a democratic environment, Mr. Speaker, mediocrity is done away with. What you do is that you put people on merit. So that's why people go to choose people. It is on merit. We've lost it completely. Mr. Speaker, pragmatism is completely lost. And honesty has been thrown to the dogs. Now, it is no longer about the truth. It's about who you like. And Mr. Speaker, if we continue the way we are going, my fear is that, unfortunately, just as some other democracies have collapsed, ours may equally do so. That is why on a day such as this, we need to reflect and ask ourselves, how far have we come? Where are we? What have we been doing right? What is it that is deteriorating and we've been doing wrong? And this is where I want to strongly agree with the suggestion with my colleague, Honorable Kobna, from Western Regional Minister, where he's saying time has come for us to look at our constitution, Mr. Speaker, to probably shift away from this political system that we have to where we have proportional representation. Mr. Speaker, with proportional representation, if government do not have to get to election, government can collapse within period. Because if they are bringing something that is so bad, groupings can move out and the government will lose its majority in parliament and therefore form a new government without necessarily getting to election. But the way we have is like when we win, we take everything and we run and crash everything until the next election. If you continue doing that, Mr. Speaker, I'm afraid that this beautiful democracy that we have, which has no any other alternative, may crash. And I'm sorry to say, today, those in opposition, all we do, and I've repeated this severally, is to oppose everything that is coming from those in government. And those in government will support everything that the government is bringing without the possibility of sitting and dispassionately as a house. Our role, which is oversight. Are we playing the necessary oversight? Are these what are those we are representing? That's what are they? What is it? What they are looking up to us for? All we do is the partisanship. To the extent that, Mr. Speaker, the danger today that engulfs our country is that we as a citizen in Ghana, those of us in the political system, we are putting our parties above our country. People in the church and the mosque, they are putting their religion above the country. People who are traditional are putting their tribe. You can never have a social democracy where people put premium on some other things rather than the state that they are, which is the citizenship. And we are all Ghanaians. And the number one priority for us should be that we will put Ghana ahead of any other thing that we are. But unfortunately, this is eroding and is eroding so fast. Mr. Speaker, I must commend the maker of the statement and the Speaker himself for making time for us to celebrate this democratic period. But Mr. Speaker, like I said, an unexamined life is not worth living. Let us dispassionately re-examine the 30 years and be able to chart a path that will improve where we have fallen short, and then hold and improve where we are strong, so that at the end of the day, we'll have a better democracy that we can leave behind for our children and grandchildren and many generations yet unborn. With this, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity to have contributed to the statement. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Muntaka. Honorable for Santia Kim. Are you central?
Central.
Central, thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I got up earlier when the Right Honorable Speaker was sitting, and on the Democracy Cup, since he is the number one man in the House, I was going to propose that he wears the number one jersey. So it should be in the goalpost. Now that you are standing in for him, I wonder whether you will do that to be the goalkeeper on the team. But most importantly, because we are talking about the Constitution and the way we want the Constitution to be improved and be better, Mr. Speaker, I would want to say that I am happy that you are in the chair, but I think the procedure in putting you at the chair is not known to our rules. And I would want to refer to the rules. Order 12(3) says, whenever the Speaker and the first Deputy Speaker are absent from Ghana or are for any reason unable to perform the functions of the office of the Speaker, the clerk shall inform the House, and the second Deputy Speaker shall perform the duties and exercise the authority of the Speaker in relation to all proceedings of the House until the Speaker returns the chair. Now, whenever 4 says, whenever the Speaker, the first Deputy Speaker, and the second Deputy Speaker are unavoidably absent, the clerk shall chair the sitting for the election of a member to preside at that sitting of the House as the member presiding. And this is the procedure known to the House. Mr. Speaker, that is all my contribution. You may have to advise yourself.
Honorable Animadu, you are clearly out of order. We are talking football today and democracy. You're not talking about standing orders. Please, honorable members, no amount of talking or engagement will attract myself and my eyes. Your duty is just to rise up on your seat, and then I will notice you and call you. So if you want to heckle the current speaker, you will certainly not be called. On that note, Mutala Tamale Central, you have the floor. And because of lack of time, can we be very brief, 2-3 minutes, so that at least I can use my discretion and call 1 or 2 more members.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Adungo was suggesting something I just don't want to add it to my statement, that I should propose for an order paper addendum to add Bambam into the standing orders. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You're out of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this statement. And I want to thank the maker of the statement. I have gone through, and I think that it was well researched, and there could not have been any better statement at this material moment of our journey towards democratic growth than now. Mr. Speaker, we have had a history in this country. We have been under colonial subjugation before. We have tried the 2 dominant systems of democracies. We have tried the parliamentary system. We tried the executive or the presidential system. And I guess that occasioned the need to have a hybrid system when the 1992 Constitution was promulgated, which we played a critical role in drafting that Constitution. And the reason why the framers of the Constitution thought it wise to practice a hybrid system was because of the defects they identified in the 2 systems we practiced before. The question then is, how far have we come? The challenges that they foresaw, and for which reason they didn't want us to have exclusive parliamentary system or presidential system of democracy. Instead, the hybrid system, where we combined the 2 dominant systems, was because of those challenges. The question I asked myself and I asked my colleagues, are those problems still permeating towards our responsibilities as members of parliament or not? My answer is yes. Of course, we have indeed chalked some successes. Mr. Speaker, there cannot be a democracy without parliament. Of course, there can be a government without parliament, but there can never be a democracy without parliament. And therefore, parliament is sine qua non when we are talking of democratic growth or development in any country. To that extent, all the military dictatorships we have experienced in this country, the first action taken by the military dictators in 1966 and the subsequent coup d'etats we have had under democratic, to truncate democratic process, the first institution they attacked was that of parliament. And let us also not be deluded into thinking that because we have practiced this democracy for 30 years, it is very strong, it is very firm, and therefore nothing can top. May God forbid. If the actions that led to the truncation of democratic governance in many countries, we do not learn from those actions, and we continue with such, I shudder to think would all heavy-hearted that we may experience that, but may God forbid that we experience this. We have witnessed what is happening in Kenya. One of the reasons why the Gen Zs are on the street, and unfortunately some of their demonstrations led to chaos, is because parliamentarians and politicians failed to act responsibly. And Mr. Speaker, permit me to paraphrase some of the statements made by the likes of Professor Ninsen, Professor Esman Johnson, Professor Jampo and Co. Unfortunately, they have described Parliament as a rubber stamp. And there is some justification in the description of Parliament as a rubber stamp. When we refuse or fail to demonstrate the level of independence in the discharge of our responsibilities, people will be justified to describe Parliament as a rubber stamp. It is not for nothing that the likes of Professor Montesquieu, John Locke and Co. propounded the theory of separation of powers, checks and balances, so that we can have equal powers where we check each other. But when we have sunk so low, unfortunately, that the powers to hold the other two arms of government, to tax, to hold them responsible, to demand accountability, and I think that we would have a problem, and people would be justified in describing Parliament the manner in which they describe Parliament. Right, Honourable Speaker, what has happened to the recommendation of the Constitution Review Commission? My position is that let's work towards insulating Parliament entirely from the grip of the executive arm. And it is not the cause of Parliament. It is the cause of our constitutional architecture, where the President's hands are tied, that he must appoint at least or more than 50% of his ministers from Parliament. So you have someone who is supposed to be performing dual roles. One hand a legislative role, another hand an executive role. So at Cabinet, even when a decision is taken, and he comes to Parliament, he removes the executive gown, then he puts on the legislative gown. He cannot be seen kicking against a decision which was taken at Cabinet. Even if he opposed the decision at Cabinet, he can't be seen that. And for me, that has all led to the lack of independence of members of Parliament. In fact, some have argued that instead of seeking the eye or the attention of the Speaker, many MPs, particularly MPs in ruling government, they are not working to seek the eye or the attention of the Speaker. They are working to see the eye or the attention of the appointing authority, because they want to be made ministers, because they want to chair boards. And if we demonstrated some level of independence, you wouldn't be cared so much about what happens within the executive arm. So we are tied. We are in some shackles, that I'm a member of Parliament, I am supposed to represent my constituent, and representing my constituents, at the same time I'm elected as, appointed as a minister. So you have a conflict between which one I should support. One other thing that I think that we need to look at, why is it that members of candidates who are contesting to be elected as members of Parliament, their filing fee must be paid by the political parties, not the candidates themselves? So ab initio, they are telling you that you don't even control yourself. Your political party pays your nomination fee. So you are in Parliament not just to represent your constituents, you are in Parliament to represent the political party on which ticket you are in Parliament. I think that we need to collectively look at some of those issues. And they have all led to the absence of independence of Parliament. They have all led to the lack of us showing our worth. Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude on this. As a result Yes, as a result of the lack of independence of Parliament, and to some extent, sadly, the inefficiency and effectiveness of Parliament, even services that are required to be extended to members of Parliament, the public is angry. And they are angry because they don't see that level of independence from us. They are angry because they don't see the output that they expect independent members of Parliament who represent their interests to be bringing out. And that is why they are angry. So my point is that let's begin to be independent. The whip system is one of the danger to democratic independence in this country. How we constitute committees in our Parliament itself. And I was thinking that the new standing orders was going to make it extremely, somehow elective. But you have few individuals, and I'm not questioning the capacity and the ability of those individuals to appoint members to committees they want them to be. They necessarily do not look at your capabilities. And I'll give an example. In the Sixth Parliament, Mr. Speaker, I have been a youth leader. I have been the longest serving student leader in this country. I chose to serve on the Committee for Youth and Sports. I was not given youth and sports. I was given a committee which I had little knowledge about. I was put on finance committee. Of course, one needs to learn under something. But why do you think that my capability and effectiveness and efficiency would have been contributing significantly if I was placed in a committee that I genuinely chose to serve in? There are many colleagues of ours who are put in committees that they simply cannot work. And that is why you have these round pegs put in square holes. So let's be independent.
Thank you so much.
Let's try to move away
Deputy
from
Majority Leader,
NPP partisan
that's
and
all
show
right.
some level of independence, particularly our friends in government.
Thank you, Honorable Member Tamale Central. Yes, Deputy Leader.
Thank you very much.
What did you say? Oh, yeah, okay. Deputy Minority Leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Let me thank the maker of the statement, Honorable Woyome, for a very timely statement on our democracy count. Speaker, I think that we started this celebration, the 30 years of Ghana's democracy, a while ago, and the Speaker, who must be credited for leading this 30-year anniversary, has really played a very critical role in this celebration. I recall my participation with him to the Central and Western region and how important those tours were. How it became so obvious that as a country we have everything in common, and that what really binds us together is bigger than our differences. Speaker, it's also on a day like this, we must recall how we even started the 30 years and how we vowed as a country that democracy was the best way forward. And I'm not too old, but I remember the revolutionary years and the challenges we faced. How come we came to a point and decided that power must be given back to the people? How we passed PNDC Law 207 on district assemblies. Mr. Speaker, I'm trying to be very brief. And once we chose democracy, there are key words that even as a young student, you always remember. Separation of powers. The independence of the judiciary. Freedom of the press. Rule of law. How executive authority must be cared and must be in the interest of the people. Fundamental things that we have said. And so today we have to ask the question, how is the judiciary? And how is justice delivery in our country? How far have we come? Are we of justice delivery in our country? How many years does it even take to dispose of cases? How is the legislature doing? And the issues that we have. Can we honestly say as a legislature that the people of Ghana are so happy with the responsibility we've been given? What about the executive branch of government? When it becomes so clear that the people of Ghana are not happy, because the responsibility to ensure that the individual freedom and liberties and to live in peace and prosperity. I mean, yesterday on the headline news, we were reading that almost 2 million young people are basically going nowhere because they have no hope of jobs or any opportunity at all. And so, Mr. Speaker, this journey, our democratic journey, even though we've made a lot of progress, we have a lot to do. And we must, on this very important 30th anniversary celebration, reflect, have a sober reflection on the realities of the shortcomings of this journey that we embarked on, and collectively as a political class vow that we must make sure we revisit the lapses to make sure that democracy's dividends will benefit the ordinary people of Ghana. Being mindful at all times that there are consequences if we fail to do so. I think that's very, very critical. It ties in with the democracy cap. And really, everything I've described about democracy is actually what is experimented in the football field, as has been stated in the statement. Team playing, unity, making sure that everybody participates in the process, that every voice is heard. That is very, very important. And we must use all the things that are played at the sports field that will be demonstrated today to guide our going forward and to really accept that if we are going to really go forward together, extreme partisanship must be addressed. That we must always understand that we are here representing the people of Ghana, the ordinary people of Elembele, and all the constituencies we represent, before any political party. And that should be what should guide us in our decision making. I believe that on display this afternoon will be exactly that. Interestingly, two teams who have been part of Ghana's history, Santi Kotoko and Hearts of Folk, who will play. We will see deep rivalry, but at the end of it, the truth of the matter is that these are teams that are truly Ghanaian. And you can't talk about our country's sports without these two teams. And it simplifies the reality we face. We are not going anywhere. I can be in Zima. You can be from the north, you can be from the Volta region, but come to my family and see how many people are from the Volta region and from the north and from Ashanti and from everywhere else. And accept that we all win together. And accept that if Ghana succeeds, we succeed together. And make sure we lift ourselves up. Making sure we take care of those who are behind, the vulnerable. This society must also strive to make sure that equality reigns, that we empower women. The fundamental things that really are at the core of what will make our democracy. The Speaker, the maker of the statement indeed has seen the nerve, and we must take clear lessons as we celebrate this 30 years anniversary. And let me say that I think I made this point clear. This afternoon we are going to have 11 players representing this parliament. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, I'm sure we can have 10 sets of players on display. I really wish that we will have 3 sets playing. Unfortunately, it won't be that. I know that I will be in before Ahmed because I play better than Ahmed. But I've made my application clear that even though I did not participate in training, I will be standing by in my booth. If they ever have any problem in the right wing, I will be there to help. And I believe that Parliament will win. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the maker of the statement.
Thank you so much, Deputy Majority Leader. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And then after that, I'll make a special dispensation.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to wrap up this conversation, stemming out of a timely statement made by an able member. And I'd like to say it's timely because I am wearing a different lens from all the contributions that have been made on the floor, bringing out the seriousness or the adverse issues and all the problems that we are having with our democracies, I look at it as a way to commend Mr. Speaker for introducing sports, specifically soccer, into the celebration of our 30th anniversary of democracy. I look at it from this point of view because I see this particular year as an election year, and we have heard so many serious statements being made out there. And I believe it is about time introducing soccer is to lighten up the mood of the country, especially the way we relate with each other. And soccer is one sports discipline that promotes, it's a unifying factor that extends beyond the pitch. And it is one that promotes social connection, cultural understanding, and global citizenship. And when we're looking outside sports, we know that we begin to feel each other as partners and not as enemies. So it is a game that is being promoted for us to realize that we have a common purpose which we need to pursue. In extending and practicing our democracy, it is important that we always see ourselves as the end beneficiaries of whatever we are trying to promote out there. In a world where we are experiencing tribal marriages, we are looking at religious intolerance, we are looking at other global issues that are pending. One of the issues that we can use to promote understanding and inclusivity is soccer. And I must commend Mr. Speaker for this initiative. And I believe that introducing this initiative is also bringing to the fore the need for members of parliament who are promoting democracy, who are promoting ensuring good governance, for us to stay healthy. So, Mr. Speaker, one thing I want us to realize that this should not be a one-off event. It should be something that we can institute within our parliament, whereby we can be exercising the body to, because if you want to promote the democracy and you are not healthy, there's no way that you can be doing a very good job. So it's not going to be a one-off event, but we will institute a kind of game interdisciplinary soccer contest that will ensure that we stay fit and at the same time we begin to relate properly. It is a source of national pride. You know that soccer, it gives us some level of national pride. And once we're able to see ourselves playing together, doing things together, it is also going to promote the idea of patriotism in our balance, because as Ghanaians, I don't think that we have displayed enough patriotism in whatever we do. Mr. Speaker, I believe that at this point in time, where a number of issues or ideas have been expressed here, it is critical that we look at the issue of institutional reforms, law reforms that will help us promote our democracy or propel our democracy to a level that will make us everybody participate and everybody understand all the policies and laws that are put out there. I also want to let people know that it is important that in promoting our democracy, using sports or soccer as a means of promoting this one will also bring to bear the interest of each and everyone. You can really integrate to ensure that you understand each other, you can converse and promote all the ideas that will be shared out there. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, honorable members. So with your indulgence and my kind permission, I just want to give the member for Akachi Safe 1 minute to draw the attention of the House.
Thank you very much
before
for
we
giving
conclude
me
the debate.
the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Animedo, MP for Achim Central, placed on record by quoting Standing Order 12 that is the procedure we have to follow in getting you to chair in the interim. Mr. Speaker, Parliament is a house of record. We need to get it clear. The relevant order is referring to states that whenever the Speaker, the first Deputy Speaker, and the second Deputy Speaker are unavoidably absent, the clerk shall chair the sitting for the election of a member to preside at that sitting at the House as member presiding. Mr. Speaker, you are pro tem Speaker, but not a member presiding. So being a pro tem Speaker, we cannot go and invite the Clerk of Parliament to come and preside over election in order to elect you so as to chair as a pro tem Speaker. You are appointed. A pro tem Speaker is appointed. So the impression should not be created that you chairing in the interim was wrong because you are not elected by the Clerk of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this is what I want to place on record in order not to appear that whatever the Speaker of Parliament has done by appointing you as a pro tem Speaker was wrong within the meaning of our standing orders. I thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you for the clarification. I think that the debate has come to an end. Whip, or what,
Mr.
what is
Speaker,
your problem again?
on this note, I want to move for adjournment of the House.
But the Speaker has to conclude the debate. I have to make some few remarks before you make the motion for the closure of the House. What is your problem?
Mr. Speaker, there is no debate for you to conclude. It was a statement that was made and we made few comments.
Speaker has some opinion on the statement. Definitely,
anyway,
as a member of this House, I'm not supposed to take part in the debate, but I have observations to make, particularly to thank the Right Honourable Speaker for instituting the 30th anniversary of our democracy. I think that is very, very important that we do so, because it sensitizes everybody that even though democracy is expensive, there's no system of government that's better than democracy. So for him to do this and then to carry it to the various regions in the country, I think that he needs a huge commendation. And secondly, for him to add football to the closing stages of this ceremony, I think that he has a very good foresight. Honorable members, you know that football is passion in the country. Football is like a religion in the country and in many parts of the world. I recall that during the World Cup of 2010 in South Africa and many other such international tournaments, some women were interviewed and they were very happy that with the tournament, children's fathers can now come home and then the children see their father before they go to bed. And that because they will be coming home to watch football, Ghana playing or participating and the rest of them. So I think we should commend the Speaker for this foresight. And the maker of the statement, I think that is very apt that you made the statement before the tournament starts today. And like some members have observed, we should not make it a 9-day wonder or just a one-term event. We should continue to have this every year to remind Ghanaians that as a country, democracy, no matter the challenges and the pitfalls, is very good for us. Many people made comments on the 1992 Constitution whether it is fostering democracy, etc., and the rest of them. As a member of the defunct Consultative Assembly that drew the 1992 Constitution, I'm very, very highly indebted to that Constitution. And then I know that a Constitution is a living document. So as we live and grow, there's wear and tear. Therefore, as the Constitution as a living document also grows, there's wear and tear. There are areas that are no more relevant in the statute books. There are issues that are no more useful in our society, and therefore we should get them out or amend them, etc. That is why those who have been called for Constitution review, like late President Mills did in 2010, and my very good friend, the former majority leader, Honorable C.K. Mensah Bonsu, used his office to put a team in place to review what we had done in 2010. I commend him for that. It's not easy to talk about the Constitution. Honorable colleagues, I wish to put on record that the way we are talking about the amendment of the Constitution or rewriting the Constitution, we don't take time. We'll be writing a book that is as the size of a Bible or a Quran. Britain has no written constitution, and they are governing successfully. Their laws are derived from decisions by the courts, from conventions, from practices, etc. They don't have a written constitution. The U.S., look at the U.S. Their constitution is not more than 20 pages. We have a constitution that is about 200 pages, and we are still not satisfied. We think we can add more and the rest of them. I think the challenge is the attitude of the Ghanaian. While admitting that the Constitution needs a review in some areas to bring it in conformity with modern trends, I think that our attitude is also very important as far as managing or implementing the Constitution is concerned. There are certain things that we should observe by way of practice and conventions. And we think that we should write everything A and B, black and white in the Constitution. I don't think that that's the way we should go about it. I hope that there will be another opportunity for the Speaker to allow us to debate the pros and cons of amending the 1992 Constitution. But we should thank the members of the defunct Consultative Assembly for making a Constitution that has lasted 30 years. In fact, 32 years now. All the other constitutions did not go far. 1957 Constitution was 3 years, and we took a Republican Constitution in 1960, 1979, 1969, then 79, then 1992. So I think that we have done well as a country and as a people, and we should commend ourselves. But I think that we should change our attitudes. There are many things that we can do without relying on the Constitution. We should respect also the Constitution and its provisions. The directive principle of state policy is chapter 6 of the Constitution. If we look at that very well and follow it, we won't talk about amending or doing all that things of the Constitution. On that note, I wish to thank honorable members for the contribution to the statement. I hope that given the time, we will all go to the Accra Sports Stadium, where Parliament 11 will be meeting the former or old Black Stars. I'm confident that we can beat them because many of them have lost form. And those of us who are not going to play, at least give moral support to the parliamentary team.
Accra Sports Stadium, you may want to give some consequential orders in terms of what will happen as we move there. So I just thought I should remind you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Minority Chief Whip, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, we thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, just to remind our colleagues opposite, Parliament is getting into trouble these days for laying things we haven't seen. We have cautioned a number of times this last week that we want to be sure that items being laid in this House comply with the standing orders in terms of sufficient copies are made available and given to members. We had a difficult time laying the agreements on lithium and bauxite. When it was finally laid, till today, nobody has seen a copy. They will wait until a time that they will quickly say that, oh, time is passing, let's celebrate. Then they send the document to committees. Mr. Speaker, once again, everything that have been laid last week and this week, if the side opposite will make sure that members are given copies of what have been laid, so we don't wake up and get surprises in the media as to what have been laid and what has not been laid. It is very important. It is not our side that is supposed to make those documents available to members. It is the side opposite. So, Mr. Speaker, we are very concerned about this. With that view, those view, Mr. Speaker, I second the motion for adjournment.
Thank you. Motion has been moved and seconded for adjournment.
Yes. No.
Mr. Speaker, before you put the question, I thought you were going to direct the clerk at table. It's their duty to give us copies of those that have been distributed and not our colleagues opposite. So that
copies of what?
The papers that were laid and have not been distributed to members. So you give that directive before you put the question.
Yeah, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the space to say a word. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this for the records. In the submissions by my very respected colleague, Honorable Kwame Agboja, he contended that we, the majority, have refused to make sufficient copies of papers laid to the minority.
Oh, not the minority.
So the majority has refused to make sufficient copies available. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minority Chief Whip is fully aware of the energy levels of the majority in ensuring the happiness of this House. He knows the work we are doing to ensure that the right things are done because of the smooth running of this House. Mr. Speaker, and he knows that today good things will be heard. How can you then derail the effort being made by accusing us? Mr. Speaker, he has to withdraw this, unless he didn't say that. Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, on this occasion, you sit down and allow me to deal with my colleague. Yes, but this is a voter-to-voter matter. What is all this? This is voter-to-voter matter. This is an unlaw matter. Why are you coming into this matter? It's not your matter. It's an unlaw man to an unlaw man.
Majority Leader, there's nothing in this House known as voter-to-voter matter. I don't think so. It's Majority Leader to Minority Chief Whip's matter, not region to region or every group to every group. Thank you.
Honorable Presiding, I'm just drawing his attention to this matter, that when a matter is between two family members, you stay away because you become a third person. I don't want him to be a third person. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Just to confirm that I am not aware of any good thing that is supposed to happen today.
Yeah.
I am not aware at all that there's any good news that I'm aware of is supposed to happen today. I'm not aware.
Well,
Mr. Speaker, I'm surprised he's not aware. Today we have football. Yeah, Mr. Speaker. He is aware.
Majority is all right. That is not for public.
Mr. Speaker, he should be aware.
There are certain things that are not for public consumption. It's all right.
The anniversary cup, the democracy cup. That is a good news.
Okay. We are going to play
during the work of Parliament. Esegoma.
Kindly resume, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Former Leader, you want to say something? Because I'm closing the House. There's a motion on the floor for closure. Yes.
It has to do with the availability of documents in the House. I think we should come to some determination on this. Is it the burden of the sponsoring authority or minister to submit sufficient quantities, or is it for us, the table office, to reproduce? That we have not as of yet determined that. So the responsibility will not be placed on the class act table when the orders provide that as soon as sufficient copies are available in their office. Who makes it available? Is it the office of the clerk? The press, our own press, is here to do these things. So is the burden on them, or is the burden on the sponsoring authority to submit it to us? I think we should be very clear in our mind so that we don't apportion blame at the wrong quarters. So, Speaker, we should find a way to deal with this. And I think it will save us all, rather than blaming other people who should not be blamed, either the office of the clerk or the sponsoring authority. So, Speaker, thank you.
Deputy Whip, you are the last fellow to
Mr. Speaker, if you look at these documents, the one who brought it should bring at least 300 copies. That's why the standing order says as soon as sufficient copies of a document are available in the office of the clerk for distribution, it should be allowed to be laid. So when the sponsors were bringing those documents, they should have known that we can't take a copy and be reproducing it here. So, Mr. Speaker, the documents under consideration, if you look at yesterday's order paper, a number of documents, plenty, over 50 of them were laid. Not even a single is given to any member. Mr. Speaker, the controversial agreements, the lithium agreement and the bauxite agreement were laid. Not even a single is given to any member. Mr. Speaker, similar thing. The Sarin road traffic document that was laid, not even a single document were given to members. When you do that, then the public is roasting MPs. Yes. Parliament is not a dumping ground that you just come and bow and just read a title of a book that it has been laid. So going forward, leader, what we want to do, we have to safeguard the little image that is left, if some is still left. To lay a paper, make copies available to the clerk at table, so that when they are well equipped, that we have sufficient copies, then we will not be obstructing them. You remember on the 14th of June, when we were obstructing the lane of the road traffic LI, we were perceived as saboteurs. Mr. Speaker, where are we today? So we are right, leader. We want the documents so that we start reading. Then we start giving copies to those stakeholders who are going to be consulted, so that will be carried along. We cannot just come at 275, we come and sit here, you lay a document, next week you go, oh, it was laid last week. You give copies to us next week and say we should produce a report. This
Thank you so much. You made a point.
Thank you.
Yeah, leadership, you can handle this amongst yourselves. No, don't let us drag this. I mean, it's obvious. The standing orders are very clear on the subject. And practice shows just that if you are bringing a document to Parliament House, make sure that you bring sufficient copy for the distribution to members. It has been several, I'm there. I know that several times we chase around looking for documents to be able to follow a debate. That is a fact.
Speaker.
Former leader, 1 minute so that we can close the House.
Speaker, I just wanted to add that once the referral has been made, if sufficient copies are not available, it's not for nothing that the committee is giving a space within about 3 months to consider any referral. It could be part of the report that we haven't had it. And they could even come out with an interim report suggesting that we don't have the copies. Even committee members don't have copies. So we can't interrogate the referral to us. Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament are supposed to be able to contribute and contribute effectively and efficiently to any report that comes to us. It's not only meant for the committee members. So I agree that members should be served copies. I was just looking at how the copies should be made available. And don't forget, in our own budget, we have allocations set aside for these things. What do we do with the budget? So, Mr. Speaker, we also, that's why I'm saying that we should be careful. Allocations set aside for printing of documents. But I agree that this book, and this is a book, not a booklet, that you are holding. I'm saying that's a book, not a booklet. It requires to be printed at the appropriate place. So if Parliament is not able to do it, they will requisition for proper printing of the document before we come to interrogate the content. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Honourable members, all too soon we come to the end of the contributions to the statement and the proceedings of the day. There's a motion on the floor to the effect that we do adjourn proceedings today until tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Those who are in favor of the motion say aye. Those who are against say nay. The yes has it. So the House is adjourned until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Thank you so much.